Welcome traders to our post-week market review. So we're going to do what we normally do, and we're going to go from our Monday to our Friday, covering the entire week. So if you remember, from the start of the week technical analysis and the midweek technical analysis, we spoke about this exhaustion candlestick here, where we saw price open up, test at this point of interest here, and then continue on down, eventually finding support and then testing at a previous high. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to mark up from this high. So as you can see, we then saw some bearish momentum here. We saw price sort of test at this level as a support. However, we then saw price break structure, creating a first lower low and a first lower high. Price then continued on further, eventually finding a support level at around the level of 3,300. Price then came up and consolidated on the lower time frames, eventually testing one of our points of interest, which is around 3,313 as a support level. Price then continued on bullish, eventually testing previous support where we first created that initial lower low, and we then tested that level as a resistance. Price then broke down to test that same level of support again, creating a high, an equal high to these sort of levels here and this exhaustion of this first lower low, and then price continued on bearish. As you can see where price is currently at right now, we are at a very, very key pivotal point for gold. Why is that? If I go ahead and zoom out for you, you can see that the level we are testing at as of right now is a key level that gold has tested many, many times in the past as both a support and a resistance. I will go ahead and indicate this in for you here. So we've tested it as a support. This was the initial creation of this level when we established that price was testing the same level. We saw it test over 3 times as a support. Price then continued on to respect this level as both support and resistance, with price eventually giving us a sort of fake out pattern. However, there was no official break, indicating to us that this level was still going to be something that we wanted to take into interest. And as you can see, price has just sort of continued around this level to respect, continued to respect this level as both support and resistance. So what does that indicate to us? That indicates to us that we are definitely at a key pivotal point for gold as of right now, and there's a couple scenarios that I would like to go over. So if you have a look, we have a point of interest here at the bottom, in which price tested when we saw this first break at this point here, where we saw price break structure. We first created that initial support level that we saw tested a few times, marked right there. So there's a couple of scenarios that we could see. Obviously, taking into account the current price action and current candlestick structure that we are seeing, we are in a bearish we are in a bearish trend right now, or as it goes for the hour one. Obviously, since this high was created last week Monday, sort of upon market open, we've seen price continue bearish. Obviously, we have had a couple of fake outs, for example here, when we did think, okay, maybe price is flipping, and again here. However, we have just continued to test previous levels of support as a resistance, indicating to us that it is just basically strengthening this bearish move. So with the current price action that we are seeing, as you can see, we are testing at this level as what seems to be a support. Why do we say support? Because we can see that this candlestick here had an enormous amount of exhaustion upon New York session open. However, there was some economic news that did take place, so it could have been in accordance to that. But we are going to say that this level is being, price is being held up at this level as a support. However, taking into account current price action and current candlestick structure, like I just spoke about, we are in a bearish move, so we are going to assume that the probability for a bearish continuation is a lot more likely as of right now in comparison to a bullish move. So why do I say that? So as you can see, we have just been creating lower lows and lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and obviously this is the last lower high that we've created. And as you can see, price has in fact struggled to break through this level in terms of a bullish fashion. We haven't seen price break anywhere past these highs that were created here. So again, taking into account the strength of this current bearish move and the current price action that we are seeing, we're going to expect and give the probability of a bearish move is a lot more likely, and the level that we're going to be expecting price to push down to and be sort of the final level of support is going to be this level here at around 3,205. Why do I say that level? Let's go ahead and zoom back into the past. We can see again Like I just spoke about, this was the first level of support after we saw this key pivotal point broken through, and then we went on to test this level a few times before we then saw that push back up where price crept very close, a matter of 500 pips away from the previous all-time high. Obviously the previous all-time high being here at around 3,500. So again, we are at a very key pivotal point for gold right now. If we see price break through this level and this bearish momentum continue, we're going to be expecting price to continue down to this level here, which is the sort of bottom side, let's say 3,200. So that's what we're going to be looking for gold to do next week. However, if we do see some signs of some buyers taking control of the market on the higher time frames anyway, we will then have a look and readjust our not predictions but our expectations, and maybe see if we are going to see a bullish flip finally, because as you know, again, we have been in a bearish market for gold on the lower time frames for quite a while now. However, let's go to our hour 4 real quick. It's going to look a little bit messy, but I will delete some of these drawings real quick just so it's not in your way and there's not too much noise. So again, it's not just on the hour 1, the minute 15, or the lower time frames that this level is a key pivotal point for gold. Again, you can see that this level has been tested multiple times as a support and a resistance, indicating to us what? It indicates to us that this level has an enormous amount of significance to gold as of right now, as price is respecting at around this price many times. So again, looking at our hour 4, you can see that price is holding up that same sort of support indication that we're seeing. We can see that price did come down to this level and then eventually test it. If I go even higher, and remember what I've said multiple times, the stronger the information, the higher the time frame, the stronger the information. And as you can see, it's the same thing on the daily. If I go ahead and mark in a rectangle box, you can see that price has tested this level multiple times as both support and resistance, and we have finished in sort of a bullish, a supporting touch where we saw price come down to this level, reject, and then close with a sizable wick. Going back to our hour 1 then, we're going to go ahead and give a possibility or a probable what we could expect if we do see a bullish move. So what we could potentially see is we could see price hold up from this level as a support and then continue on bullish. The first level that we're going to be taking into account is the level of 3,313, as we have seen price test this level as a support and resistance multiple times again, as you can see. If we see this level broken, we're going to be looking for our next major point of interest, which is going to be this level here. Why do I say this level here? Again, if I go ahead and just drag this into the past, you can see that multiple times this price has tested this level as both support and resistance. So with the sort of last test of support and resistance here, you can see support and then resistance. So again, indicating to us that that is probably the next major pivotal point for gold. However, for the first for a bullish move to even be in the equation, we're going to be looking at this level here to be broken through. If we see that level be broken through, we're looking at 3,345. If we then see that price broken through, we're then looking for price to come back up to that 3,400 level. So concluding the last week or two, matter of fact, we have been in a considerably bearish market with no real signs of a bullish flip anytime soon. However, I will say this: in the next week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, we will see a bullish flip. That's not 100%. As you know, the market is never 100%, and I am not making predictions in these technical analysis videos, but we are expecting a bullish flip at some point in the future where we see price go up to test that previous all-time high or create a new one. But as of right now, we are definitely in a bearish market as of the hour 1 time frame. Obviously the higher time frames, hour 4, we are just consolidating after creating that all-time high. And if I go ahead and scroll into the past on a smaller scale, you can see the same sort of thing happen. We create an all-time high and then price sort of moves sideways and continues on up. So again, concluding our post-week market review, the market has been bearish again this week. We are at a very key pivotal point for gold, and we are going to be taking this level into account, and I'm very interested to see what happens with gold as of this next coming week. Again, if we see price hold up at this level as a support, we're going to be expecting that 3,313 level as our next target, and then 3,345 to then 3,400. If we see a bearish continuation, we're going to expect price to fail as a support at this level, and then continue on with this level of 3,200-ish, give or take, as the last point to hold price up. If price 10 breaks past this level, we're going to be expecting price to come back into the 2000s, but obviously we will get there. If price gets there, we will then readjust, we'll reevaluate, we'll reperform some more technical analysis, and then we'll go over possible scenarios then. So again, that's going to be our post-week market review. I hope you have all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.